Hey everybody, it's pronounced Vag and I'm Adam. I bought something the other day that I am super excited about. Paddle shift extensions for my Golf R. It is something that I've always wanted, but I have not been willing to pay the price for the $200 plus options. Could go with like the $25 AliExpress or eBay options, which everybody seems to love. What I wanted was something that was very OEM-like and is illuminated. I finally found them. There's a gentleman who is 3D printing these. He has an eBay store. His seller name is nczworks. We'll post a link. I was able to contact him, got in touch, and he hooked me up with a set of these, and I paid full price, so he's not sponsoring this. And talked to him a few times about how OEM-like the finish is. They're tiny and lightweight. I was talking to him, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a YouTube video on this, and like, I'm super excited to see these, and he's like, oh man, maybe I should have put it in better packaging. Okay, so this is it. I don't know what side this is gonna be for. You can see the shape of them. I'm already so excited. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, that is so nice. Man, I can't believe this is 3D printed. Like, I mean, I've only seen like kind of jerry-rigged 3D.
Jerry?
This looks pretty rad. I will leave that right there and you can check that out. So what he was telling me is that he 3D prints these, and the way he gets the illumination for the plus and minus is that he has an acrylic light tube that runs up the middle. I think that's what that little rectangular piece is there. Here's the plus side. Look at how clean, here you can check that out, how clean that plus is. That is going to be so awesome. Before I put these ones in, we'll try to do maybe a side-by-side comparison to show the length difference and the finish difference. I think these are going to look friggin' sweet. I am really impressed. I mean, they're 3D printed at home. There's some really minor imperfections in the finish. You can see maybe some kind of glossing versus the satin, but who's going to see that way down there on the back side? All I care about is this upper portion and how well it lights up, so maybe I shouldn't be touching the lit up part. I am recording. Hey. What's up? So it's been a minute since I got these paddle shifters from nczworks. So when I was on the hunt for some illuminating paddle shifters, I figured it was going to be something that I was going to have to take the steering wheel off.
Today at shopdap.com, we're going to show you how to take the steering wheel off a Mark 7.
That I was going to have to mess with some wiring.
And replace these buttons.
But the way that these work are super cool. There's a little acrylic light tube that is right in the middle here. That there's an LED on the back side of the steering wheel that shines here and is what lights up the plus and minus on the paddle shifter. Starting off, this is probably one of the easiest installs you may ever do. This is literally a 5-minute swap. Shout out to humble mechanic Charles, he's awesome.
What's up everybody, it's Charles. In this video we're going to be installing paddle shift extensions.
And it really helped me decide I didn't want to buy $200 plus paddle shifters. I considered the $25 paddle shifters, but it was my mission to find something that lit up like the OEM because I am very into OEM plus. I'm on the road on the mission to some more OEM plus mods. So I feel like these paddle shifters are one of the ultimate cool OEM plus mods that not very many people have or are gonna have because nczworks makes them in small batches, 3D prints. So let's get into it. The steering wheel is unlocked. Gonna flip it all the way to the right here, just 90 degrees. There is a little pin that is holding this in and it just slips right out. But the trick is having a tool that is narrow enough to be able to get in there. I first grabbed my needle nose pliers, handy dandy narrow tool, but the ones that I have are actually pretty fat. They taper out pretty quickly. So I also have electrical wire strippers. They're a little bit narrower. They got this kind of funky end to them where they kind of weave, but I'm gonna try them. One great tip that Charles gave was to put a little bit of tape on the edges so that you don't screw anything up. You know, if you want to put something back, you can put it back without it being damaged. So I'm gonna stick a little bit of tape in there, and then I'm gonna sneak in there. I'll try these needle nose pliers. These are actually pretty big needle nose pliers. Yeah, the tip doesn't even get all the way in the end. So make sure you have something that's relatively narrow. Let's try this guy. I had to shove it in there a little bit. If you can lightly spread the paddle shifter from the steering wheel. So there's just this tiny little plastic pin that's holding that in there. So I bet there's some tolerances there, you know, things kind of shifting around. I've seen folks kind of talk about, oh, you know, paddle shifter is kind of wiggly. Well, it's a tiny little lightweight plastic pin. So now I've got that off, and this just flips up, kind of wiggles up and out. There's a little channel here on the top that the paddle shifter kind of, when you put it back in, it kind of goes in this way and fits right into the little holes there for the pin to sit in. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the backside of this paddle shifter because it was not very clear to me how these things actually lit up. This is what it looks like with the paddle shifter off. There is the two kind of mounting points where the pin goes through. This little tab right here is where the end of, or the side of the paddle shifter kind of swings up in there and then mounts to those two pieces. There is there's a little rubber part here that is the buttons for the paddle shifter. And I actually drove around like this for a little while, and you know what? These buttons still work to shift up and shift down because there's no electrical connections for the paddle shifters. One thing I was really curious about, like I showed you with the light tube, is where the light comes from. Turn that on. Get the headlights on. Hey, there it is, right between the buttons that I was pointing to. That's where the LED shines out. I don't know what the rest of it is back there, but that's all I figure. So anyway, little tour of behind the steering wheel. All right, so we got the paddle shifter out, gave you a little tour of behind the steering wheel. Now we're gonna put the new one back in. So I am on the downshift side, the left side of the steering wheel. The way that this fits in there is that on the outer side of the paddle shifter, there's this little channel. So you will put the paddle shifter in where you kind of swing it up in there. We're just gonna fit that right in there. Oh, sweet. It fits right in there. Now, uh-oh, where did the pin go? I have one pin there. Gardettos or something there. There's one pin. I lost this thing. I'm gonna be in deep trouble. Can I sit on it? Is it in my pocket? It's not in my pocket. Adam! Where did it go? Where did I put this pin? Do you guys know where I put it? Okay, I'm gonna find it here. Definitely not there. Oh my lord. Leave me a comment if you think I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing everything okay so far. And you know what? Guess what? I knew I had a pin sitting here, but the other pin is in the other side of the steering wheel. That's embarrassing. Where was I? Installing the Illuminated paddle shift extension. So it swings up in there into that little channel. It seats in those little slots for the pin to slide back in the hole. And the way that these are designed is you can use your fingers just to press this all the way back up in there. And boom. Gonna be shifting some paddles. So here's a quick comparison showing the nczworks paddle shifter compared to the height of the OEM paddle shifter. You know, I absolutely love the look of these paddle shifters. The one thing I'll say that I dislike about these paddle shift extensions is that, I'll show you on the upshift side, is that they're not finished all the way around. This white part is exposed, and that kind of bugs me. So you can see how easy it was to take out the existing ones and put in the new ones. I'm probably going to mask off and repaint all this white trim around here so that you can't see that, just so that it has that really OEM plus look. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to match the finish, but as long as it's black in that channel, I don't think anybody's ever going to notice. So I just painted the paddle shift extension portion that was white black, but I used a really flat black, so I don't know that it's coming across very black in this video. It looks pretty gray to me right now. In real life, it looks black. It's definitely not white, which I'm very happy about. So that's the one critique I have. I guess at this point, let me talk about the finish. I was really surprised when I was looking at the OEM paddle shifters. It looks like they are almost made in the same way. I don't know if they're 3D printed or cast. It looks like they're probably cast in two separate plastic pieces. There's a seam that runs along the edge. But what I was really surprised to see is that they're white plastic that is spray painted similarly to how these ones are from nczworks. So I was really impressed to see the similarities between how these are finished. Now, they're really close in the way that they're finished, but there are some really minor imperfections in the one from nczworks, but they're all in locations where nobody's really going to see it. The part that really makes the biggest impression is this piece that sticks up over the steering wheel that you see. The feel on the back is going to be really great with these ribs that run along it up and down. So I'm really happy with the finish. So the downshift side is in. Press the pin in, it just has a little tiny, you can feel a little tiny pop, set, whatever. It doesn't really click. I'm gonna crank the steering wheel back the other way. I'm gonna reuse this one piece of tape. We're gonna take out this other side and get my wire strippers. There's a finished little plier tool that I have. So get these pins out. Oh yeah, right in there. I'm gonna take it off. Cool. If you try to pull this thing out from this outer side of the steering wheel, it's not gonna work. It has to flip up and out to fall out of that little groove. Hardest part is just seeing behind the steering wheel because it's not made for me to see back there. And then that pin just goes in there, so easy. Crank it over. And now I'm ready to roll. Except I gotta fix that part. It's like I'm playing a video game. This really is like a video game controller of a steering wheel. I love the way that they feel and the way that they look. And they have this ribbing. I think it's three lines that run down the back sides that is very similar to the OEM ribbing. And so it gives that little bit of grip that you may need so you don't slip off. They're not the biggest paddle shift extensions. They're very subtle. They look like they belong here, and that's exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the detail in how these buttons work, how they feel, how they look, how they feel. They feel how they look? I don't know. Let's take a look at the... There's not a whole lot of play in that paddle shifter. Very slight. I'm really kind of working it there. But you know, if I'm shifting, I'm pushing around, it's gonna wiggle. It's just plastic, and there's a little tiny plastic pin that's in there. Pushing on the extents of the paddle shifter, if you push on this inside edge, it's not gonna do anything. But if you push just right here on this outside edge, like you're holding the steering wheel, you know, it's all gonna work up and down the steering wheel. So same thing on the left-hand side. You know, the left-hand side, I want to say I felt like I've heard people say like this side is more wiggle. Can you tell? Is it more wiggly? It barely moves, so it's not a big deal to me. I think a bunch of the metal ones are the same way, but I feel like it's that pin. It's gotta be the pin in there. So maybe we can get somebody to manufacture some little tight pins for the DSG paddle shifters. All right, guys. Obviously, the point of this whole video is to show you how cool these illuminating paddle shifters are. Booyah, baby. Look at those. Look how sweet that is. Anybody who doesn't think this is cool, I don't know what they're not cool. They're not cool at all. Check out how, there you go, you can see really good on the downshift side, how sweet that matches. It looks good, doesn't it? It looks really good. I could do this all night. So that install was super easy. I just want to go drive. I just want to pull them on both of them at the same time. I don't know what that's going to do. I think they're one of the coolest OEM plus mods that you can do. And they're, I don't know what I'm saying. Nobody's going to have them. I think there's like probably 20 people who have them right now. And I'm one of the luckies. I'll just say I'm one of the luckies. Anyway, let's call this good. We'll end it here. Paddle shift extensions from nczworks are pretty bomb. If you like what you see, you like what we're doing, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Please subscribe, give us thumbs up, leave some comments, and check us out on Instagram. We're pretty active there. So you can see a lot of the stuff that's coming up on our YouTube channel. We're posting about some other work we got going on for the S5, the Golf R. Some exciting stuff coming up. We'll see you guys next time.